Hey, what's up, everybody? Crap Gamer here. We have Xbox Nation. I know kind of maybe surprised some of you guys because we're doing one today, even though we did the Seamus Blackley interview on Tuesday. The thing about that is I still wanted to cover some of this other stuff this week on my channel. And the Seamus interview was something that we had planned for a little bit in advance, but it was something that, we obviously, due to some trolls and stuff, we had to keep that kind of tight-lipped. So we kind of surprised, and we did that, and I think it went really well because he was a really good guest, and he definitely wasn't politically correct. I don't even think he'd give a shit about the trolls, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think that he was just real cool and down to earth, and he just said it how it is, man. It was cool. We got some cool stories out of him, and it was a lot of fun. So we're a little bit light here tonight because Blackie is hitting the town, and Iron Wolf didn't know we were doing a show today, so he said he was going to listen in his car or whatever. But we've got Mooch here, and we've got Blaze in Phoenix, so we're going to keep it Xbox.
Yeah.
And first thing I want to talk about is there's some pretty interesting news as Activision has pulled the Black Ops 3 from digital pre-orders on Xbox One. And what's interesting about this is they pulled the standard version 6 days ago and the deluxe version 4 days ago. And then the description says available at your local retailer for digital pre-order. If you already bought it or digitally bought it, you're still good. But otherwise, you're kind of shit out of luck. And Amazon also pulled the season pass, so you can't buy the season pass for this. You can't buy digitally. You can't pre-order it on the Xbox One. It's just, I mean, to me, this seems like a bunch of bullshit. Maybe like, is Sony to blame for this? I mean, they are in bed with Activision. They have this deal with them. I mean, let's just say it, man. I think that this has something to do with Sony. Sony wants, they want the digital, they want the physical, and they think that, this could probably help them. I'm interested to see how this turns out, but what is your guys' thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, I'm glad we're talking about it because I do find this to be, well, I'm going to use the word spiteful, and maybe within Sony's power to do something like this. So a lot of people would probably, hit me on Twitter and say, well, no, it's not spiteful, Mooch, because technically they could do it. I don't know if they can technically do it. Here's the way I look at it. Here's what's happened in the past 3 days. Sony's definitely going to have a price drop, and Sony is probably behind pulling this so that more Xbox One users can't pre-order the game that they want to play it on Xbox One because of obvious reasons like better online, better controller, better community, which equals a multiplayer. But they're doing this because they're freaking out. This is what we heard in Yoshida's voice when he said, "We don't know why we're winning." The reason they don't know why they're winning is that's coming from the boss. Whenever you have anybody that's your leader, and he's like, I don't really know why we're doing blank, whether it's winning, going this way, going to war with somebody. No matter what it is, if your leader says that, you have to stop and question it for a second. Now, what I'm questioning is he knows that this is the second, if you want to count the first, because Killzone was trash, Knack was trash, right? I mean, we all know that. This is the third Christmas with nothing good coming out of this box. So they've got nothing. They invested every red cent they have this year into hoping that people would take the COD, the COD bait. And so I think it's been proven over the past couple months that we've seen Amazon. I believe Amazon has exposed video. People show. I'm not checking it, so I don't know. But I do know that people have sent me snapshots on Twitter from Amazon's top whatever it is sales, and it shows more Xbox One copies of Call of Duty Black Ops.
That is true, yeah.
So if
Black
that
Ops
is true,
it's been trending that way too since the game was announced. The Xbox One version was ahead of the PS4 version,
right.
And that just, that's just how it's gonna be because Xbox is synonymous. No matter, just like Metal Gear was always gonna sell better on PlayStation. No matter, no matter what the install base was of the PS1, it was always gonna sell better on PlayStation. People look at it as a PlayStation property.
That's right.
Look, even if Titanfall 2 is multi-platform, it'll sell better on Xbox because that's what it's known for. That's what it's synonymous with. Call of Duty is synonymous with Xbox. You want that good, robust online feeling. So,
that's where I'm going with this. And you've got, you said this crap. You said it on your channel. I think you said it on BGST last week. In the fact that we have only one game that comes out of Yoshida's mouth for 2016, and that's Uncharted 4. I promise you, this you can go ahead and copy my word. Horizon Event Zero. That if it comes out in 2016, it'll be broken. There's no way that's coming out. And just look at Sony's timeline, okay? They showed Uncharted in 2014, and it was not even Uncharted. It was a CGI of Drake falling and waking up in the middle of nowhere, and it was like Uncharted 4, a thief's who gives a shit. And like literally, right? And then it took till this year that they showed it twice at the PSX, which it froze, and then they showed it again at E3, and I don't give a shit. Controller died my ass. You are prepared with extra batteries or something, or have somebody in the back. We've heard that from Seamus and a bunch on the when they did interviews with IGN. You always have a failsafe in the back. That controller didn't die. The game died. So it died again. So what I'm saying here is Yoshida is petrified. So what he did was he undid that little latch on the red box on his desk. He hit the button, and he hit the oh shit Call of Duty button. Stop selling that shit. I'm calling my jack. I'm calling my full house. I don't want you guys selling that right now. Not until it's the whatever it is that can, whatever deal they've constructed with Activision to when Xbox can actually get it back on their system. They hit the oh shit button, and that's got to be the reason, because I've read many articles where they said they reached out to Activision, they've reached out to Microsoft. Microsoft can't say anything. They're like, we don't comment on anything that a publisher we're doing business with. It's their call, blah, blah, blah. That's the correct answer for Microsoft. But then when they reached Activision, Activision was like, well, we're not really sure, and we're really excited about Call of Duty, and we know Xbox. It was a bunch of, we're not sure. So it's a bunch of bullshit, as you would say, crap. So
they contradicted each other big time, basically.
Yes,
yeah.
Well, but going on with the Call of Duty thing, it's already the damage been done. People been playing Call of Duty on Xbox since Advanced Warfare. Modern Warfare 4. And to me, Modern Warfare 4 was the best Call of Duty. So I think Sony got the deal a little late. Maybe if they had got it during Modern Warfare 2, this would be bigger news. But this game is already synonymous with Xbox. The Xbox guys already bought it. If they're gonna buy it, they're gonna buy it. They're not gonna buy it on PlayStation just for DLC. So I think Sony wasted their money on this deal. They should have took this money and made some new exclusives or something.
Well, you know what, Sony, I don't think they don't really feel the need to make exclusives. If you look at what's working for them right now, it's just this whole like marketing deal. They're doing a lot of what the 360 did late in the generation, which was, but even though, you know what, people keep saying that, including myself, but the 360 actually still had a good 3 or 4 big AAAs a year. Sony hasn't even had that. They've been coming out with these really incredibly niche titles. If you look at the games they had out this year, it was the Order 1886, Baseball, Bloodborne, and I'm trying to think of another big AAA. Yeah, but I mean, I don't even consider that a AAA. You know what I mean?
It's on the list.
Yeah, I mean, come on though. That's like saying that those Telltale games are AAAs. I don't really consider them that. So I mean, if you want to lump it in there, that's fine. But definitely not like that tearaway game or or anything like that. So you're looking at basically 4, I guess, known titles or whatever. And outside of that, they've just been pumping Destiny. They got that deal. They had Call of Duty deal, the Batman deal, the Metal Gear deal. I mean, look, are you seeing the trend? Yeah. Yeah, the deal. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? It's like that's what they're depending on. This holiday, what are they going to do? Oh, they dropped price, $50. A lot of people might, to me, that is surprising. And I'll go around and see what you guys think about this. But in case you guys didn't hear, $50 price drop. This is going to make this year, this holiday, a lot more interesting, I think. But to me, it screams of Sony's state of mind. One, they don't want to get embarrassed over this holiday like they did last. Remember, last holiday, the Xbox One outsold the PS4 by damn near 1 million over the holidays. So Sony doesn't want that to happen again. And the other thing that it tells me is that Sony desperately wants to hold on to winning in North America. They have a slight lead right now. What is it, like 700,000-800,000, and they want to keep that by any means necessary, so to speak. So what they're going to do is drop the price and hope that people are foolish enough to buy it and realize, that there's not really any kind of gains for it. On the other hand, Microsoft, Phil Spencer, smart guy, said he predicted this, a couple months ago he said that he predicted this, that Sony would drop the price.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, they're going to have something to counter that. I've already seen an Xbox One deal for $279. I can't imagine the PlayStation 4 being able to drop officially a $50 price to $349, and the Xbox One, the 500 gig. I can see that being $299. Imagine them selling that for $299 standard, and then come Black Friday, you can get it for say $250, $270. I mean, come on. That's going to be a phenomenal deal. What do you guys think about that PS4 price drop?
I wrote Phil a tweet today, and I said to him, Phil, of course, he didn't answer me back, but he goes, I said, the ball's now in your court. You called it. They did it. They dropped it. Now it's in your. I said, make it $299. Just make the original black box. I don't give a shit if it even comes with a game. Make it $299. Just a box and a controller for $299. And watch that shit fly off the shelf. But let's get back to your question. Your question was, what do I think about the 350 PS4 drop? I'll tell you what I think about it. Because all the people that are these politically correct people on YouTube, all the politically correct people, the people who don't want to take a permanent stand, they're like, Sony doesn't have to take a price drop. They're so far ahead. Well, let me tell you something. In business, when you do that, you are looking a bit desperate or concerned. I shouldn't use the word desperate because they're not there yet, but I'll use the word concerned. They are concerned that Microsoft will blow them away.
Yeah, they're desperate.
I mean, they don't have any games. So if you look at what's coming out, right, they see Microsoft advertising the best games lineup of all time, and they have a good backlog of games for this year and even last year. So anybody new to an Xbox One has a plethora of good AAA games to pick, right? You can get, you can have your Forza 6 or your Forza Horizon 2 depending on what you like. If you like both, then buy both. You can have your Sunset Overdrive, you can have your Titanfall, you can have your Halo, you can get the Master Chief Collection, and you can get Halo 5 here soon. Right. There's a lot of stuff. Killer Instinct, there's a Dead Rising 3, there's a lot of big AAA games that you can get on the Xbox One that are really good right now. And there's even more to come. I mean, next year looks even better, and so I think that Microsoft has that going for them, you know what I mean? And Sony is worried about that. Sony can sit there and say, we're not worried about Microsoft's exclusives. We're not worried about this. We're not worried about that. They can say that now until, the cows come home, but their actions speak louder than their words. What does their words say? We're not scared. Their actions are cut $50 off the price. So that means that they are worried about that, and I think that that's very telling. And I think that while it's a bold move for Sony, it's also a desperate move because they don't have much to compete, and all the stuff that they're hyping up can be bought on Xbox One.
Yeah, like me personally, I don't think they really needed a price cut because most of the people who bought the PS4, they have PS3 owners that wanted to hurry up and upgrade because we already knew how bad the PS3 was. So that's probably, for me, I think that's where most of their numbers come from. Most of the casual person, they probably wouldn't even buy the PS4. They wouldn't really care, but the Xbox has a chance to take it. Like all these exclusives and features, and Microsoft can market it more. I think it would sell good this holiday season.
Well, I mean, you got to look at the bundles, and Microsoft is absolutely stunning people. There's 7 bundles. There's the 5 that we know about. Then there's the Forza and the Halo bundle. Listen, that is going to bombard SKUs and shelves in Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and Game. And I believe GameStop is taking these in. Even though they made that comment, I think they're still going to have those bundles, digital or not, this year. And maybe that'll be their policy in effect.
I saw the Forza 6 bundle there, and I think that only has a digital code. So
right, that's what I'm saying. If they're going to do that, maybe it's 2016, or maybe it'll be something where they eat their, they put their foot in their mouth and say, well, we didn't really mean that next year when Microsoft kind of starts to take over here a little. I mean, a lot's going to happen for Microsoft in the next 4 to 5 months. And the public, remember, everything bleeds out. Even though internet and the world feels so small because we're talking to people over the world now with Twitter and Facebook, the thing about it is information still hits very, very slowly. There's 3 guys, that work in my building downstairs. They all just got Xbox Ones the past 2 days. They're big 360 guys. They're not PlayStation guys. And it takes a long. They actually said to me, they asked me just questions that me, you, and Blaze have known for probably 6 months, but they didn't know about. They didn't understand back. They're like, tell me, Mooch, what's a little bit about this backwards compatibility? And I told them a little bit about it. I said, they're like, are all the games? I'm like, no, 100 games are coming out in November, then possibly another 100 by March. I'm like, they're gonna bleed out 100 at a pop, probably 3-4 months in between. And he's like, wow, that's that. I've heard of it, but I didn't know what the hell it actually was. So my point being is, what's happening from Microsoft in the next 4 or 5 months? Backwards compatibility, the new UI, which we can talk about later. The games. I mean, Halo 5. Listen, Halo 5 alone, all right, is just it's a way of they're going to change gaming again. Halo 5 will change gaming, and what I mean by that, let me explain it because people are like it's too generic. First of all, 343 has put their lifeline into it. That new video that came out that showed forging. Now, I'm not a forge guy, but the forging, the things that took days, 5, 6, 7 days to forge with professionals, they said takes minutes. Minutes. Not. I thought they were going to say hours. Guy said it took him 10 minutes to make what it took him 2 days last year on a different build. That's amazing. And these are not 343 employees. These are the build community that do a lot of work. These are professionals, people that take 2 days. 2 days for me, I think, is still very impressive. Now he did it in 10, 15, 20 minutes. That's insane. That's So you've got the way they're going to change that. They're also changing gaming in the fact that they're giving you 21 maps day one. Nobody's done that. So you're getting 21 multiplayer maps, and you're going to get, of course, the Warzone, which is Warzone takes Titanfall, Call of Duty, and Halo, puts it in one big ball and throws it at you. And then I think last but not least, they're giving free DLC. I mean, it's something that no one else does.
Yeah, 15 free maps. There's no season pass.
That's a trend. That's a trendsetter. That's a trendsetter.
Yeah, that's good.
That's going to start the industry down a path that they can't go against. How do you have to stand up to your competitor? And let's be honest. Forget what I just said about what the hell does Sony have multiplayer-wise? What does Sony have that even compares with one thing I just said Halo 5 is going to give you guys? Nothing. Nothing. Killzone? I mean, that's almost comical. Where's the laugh track? Crap, can you hit me?
Hold on. Here we go.
Thank you. Like, I mean, so they're changing it that way. We've said back compat. You've got the new UI, the new controller. I mean, did you guys see the latest video, the 3-4 minute video they put out 3 days ago or 2 days ago?
Yeah, that's amazing.
I am gonna sit there and do what the guy did with I'm gonna stare at the box for about 15 minutes. Then I'm gonna break it down as I open the thing up. It's what I've been waiting for, and I know you guys know me very well. People listening know me from the show. You guys know me from playing. We play in the community. We know each other offline too. But the one thing I've asked all my personal friends and everyone that comes over, I'm like, I just wish I had a heavier, solid controller. I just like that, man. It's like a steering wheel. You get behind a BMW or a Benz or any kind of real racing car or a street, it's got a heavy steering wheel. When you get into those, like even Caddies sometimes or Infinities, the ones that are just luxury, you can almost turn the wheel with one finger. That's no grip. You want to have that grip and that feel, and that's what you're going to get with this Elite controller. And that's the most important part of gaming is your connection with the game, and that is through the controller.
Yeah.
And these are things that are going to take time, guys. It's going to take 5-6 months for the public to know. That's why Sony's shitting their pants. They only have Uncharted 4 coming out in March. That's it. Between now and the 6th. So while all this information is bleeding out over the course of the holiday, and people seeing their friends, getting these systems, getting the new controller, playing these new games, interfacing with the new UI, all of a sudden, Sony's like, well, we got Uncharted 4. Drake something or another. Stay tuned.
You know what's funny? What's funny? You said the Uncharted. Did you see that article from GameSpot where they said 80% of PS3 owners never played Uncharted?
Yeah, and that's a quote from Naughty Dog. And did you see what I wrote?
No.
That was well. First of all, I just called them out on it. I said that's bullshit. If you're gonna buy that, I got a bridge you can buy. That's absolute. And somebody, a pony, hit me up right after that, and he said, Mooch, how can you say that? How do you know about what you think Naughty Dog's just lying? I said, no, you know what I think Naughty Dog's doing? They're covering their ass. Because by saying that, it justifies the reason to give the Uncharted collection a paint job. If that was a true collection, where's my multiplayer? Where's added features? Where's something about Drake I didn't know? Where's a part of the game that they cut out from years ago that maybe they could have thrown back in like they did with Gears? Where's the stuff that you were supposed to put into a collection? Whenever you buy a collection, anything. I bought the new my son loves Star Wars, right? So I bought the Star Wars Blu-ray or DVD set. I bought the DVD set and the Blu-ray. And when you do, every time you buy it, you get something. Is it worth the extra cost? That's up to the individual. But you get an extra piece of footage, or fucking, Harrison Ford tells you how he kicked, Luke Skywalker in the ass, and they cut it out. Whatever they do. It's something extra. You're not getting anything here. What you're getting right here is filler from Sony. You're getting and at that, you're getting a $60 filler. You're getting a filler to make you wait all the way until the new one comes out. So that 80% thing is a big pile of shit that they have to say this. They got to cover their ass.
It is, because if you look at it, what did they say? Something like those Uncharted games sold, what, like 20 million or whatever it is. I mean, 20 million.
Yeah, who are they then?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if each one of those is selling 5-6 million or whatever, then I think it's pretty clear that they're full of shit. And not only that, do you remember those like that we kept on seeing these things like this amount of PS4 owners didn't own a PlayStation 3 last gen, so that's why they're doing all the remasters, right? But then you look at the sample, right, and it's like 800 people. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really something that's completely accurate. Like I remember people used to say, "Oh, the Xbox 360 had this amount of Red Ring of Death issues, right?" And I never really had that problem. Yeah. And so you sit there and you look, well, what's the sample? And if they sampled, it depends on where they sample and how many they sample. So I think that that could be skewed or whatever. But just look at this, right? Uncharted 4 was supposed to come out this year. Then it got delayed earlier in the year, which meant they only had the time from when they knew it was going to be delayed until it came out to slap together that Uncharted thing, right? And I don't care how many sites try to cover for that. That game looks exactly the fucking same, right? What they did to it was in that amount of time was exactly what 343 did to Halo ODST. 1080p, 60 frames per second, kick it out the door. You know what I mean? There's nothing real special about it. There's no extras in there. There's none of that. They took out the multiplayer. Why did they take out the multiplayer? Because they didn't have enough time to implement the multiplayer. So, I mean, it's pretty clear to me anyway what's going on. And I think that, it just goes to show what Sony's mentality. That's their big game for this year, for this holiday. That, according to Yoshida himself, that's the big game. And that, to me, is just absolutely telling all. That's like, that tells the whole story.
That's one game, and it's going up against Quantum Break, Scalebound. It's going up against Recore, Gears of War 4. That's just one game. What else do they have to offer?
Well, they have Street Fighter.
I was never.
My last Street Fighter. Yeah, Killer Instinct for me brought my love of fighting games back. For the main reason, I'll be honest with you, is you could just play it and do the story. You could do the other stuff by yourself. You know what I'm saying? And
we got to defend ourselves here because everything that Blaze just said, you just said, and I just said is 100% accurate. But don't take our word for it. Let me just let the audience know who's listening. If you don't believe the three of us, what we're saying about the 80% being bullshit, I want you to go on YouTube, go find your favorite pony channel, the people who just love Sony, they love it, love it, love it. All of them have already gotten a copy of the Uncharted collection, and just don't waste a lot of your time. Just skim through all of them and watch the first 2 minutes of everybody's. I watched a bunch of them. You have to watch these guys to get this kind of knowledge of idiocracy. And I watch each of them, and each of them said, "Oh, can't wait to play this." Anybody who has had a PlayStation 3 knows the quality, the craftsmanship, the story, the beauty of Uncharted. How amazing it is. So there's your exposed, Naughty Dog. Every single Sony person that has a YouTube channel that you gave a copy to early to try out has already told everybody that they've all experienced it. It's their favorite. Everyone gave it a 10 out of 10. So no, Blaze, and I want to get to what your opinion is too, because I know you're not a huge fan. But my thing is this: what I'm saying is they've all said that they've played it. They've all said that they loved it. They all said it's a masterpiece. They all said it's a must-have from years back. So this is coming from the Sony community saying how amazing it is. Well, then how is it that nobody's played it? I kind of feel like Tom Cruise in A Few Good Men. When he's like, and he's like, you can't handle the truth. The truth is, you already said it. You ordered the Code Red. You said masterpiece. You said we've all had this. You can go on every one of those people's channels that has already done an early review, and they've already said that everybody has had this, and their friends all have it. We all experienced it together. Kumbaya. So that is a pure cover-up. Well, yeah, but you're not one of the. You're not. Well, all right. You do have a PS4, but I'm saying like literally the majority of people on PS4 we also know are PS3 customers.
They jump ship super fast, and not only that, but here's the funny thing: like the Uncharted games are on PS Now, so if they really, really wanted to play it, and they had an internet connection and wanted to pay Sony like $40, they could have played all three of them on PS Now or whatever, because those games aren't that long.
Isn't it cheaper to play all three of them on PS Now?
You know what? It's almost cheaper. You can get all three, say, at GameStop for like $20. I mean, if you wanted to, you know what I'm saying? So I think that, to me, like, and I know this sounds like I'm biased or whatever, and maybe a little bit, but to me, Microsoft, when they do their remasters or whatever, or remakes, it's games that deserve it, It's games that are like on an anniversary, like a 10-year anniversary or something like that. They did Halo 1 on the 10-year anniversary. They did Halo 2 on the 10-year anniversary. They did Fable 1 on the 10-year anniversary. They did Gears almost on the 10-year anniversary, but they only did that because the fans requested. I mean, look, Iron Wolf himself was one of the ones that kind of spearheaded that campaign. Yeah, I mean, because they weren't probably going to do that, you know what I mean? But people demanded, and they wanted they wanted a Gears Online game to hold them over to Gears 4. Yeah. Microsoft listened and gave it to us, So I think that's probably the biggest difference is they give us the games that deserve that. I don't know, Uncharted to me, that game, the oldest one is what, like 7, 8 years old. I don't know if that's really, really deserving of that.
Yeah.
I think it's a good franchise, but it's had its ups and downs. You know what I mean? Like the second one was the best, in my opinion, but the third and the first ones weren't as good. And I guess the first one really doesn't hold up well in the collection because that really brought down the score. If they had just released 2 and 3. It probably would have scored much better, but like a lot of the reviews that I watched for it said that part 1 kind of didn't hold up well. It was linear, the shooting was bad, and you know what I mean? What was interesting was nobody brought up the lack of multiplayer. Like, to me, somebody should have like really kind of docked them for that because the multiplayer, I'm not going to lie, was actually okay. I played it. You know what I mean? It was decent cover-based kind of multiplayer team deathmatch and all this kind of stuff. It was kind of fun. You know what I mean? And for them to kind of just say, yeah, we're not going to include that, I think that's kind of shitty, and that just shows, again, Sony's kind of cheapness and ineptitude. So I think at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Real quick, Battlefront, I don't know, have you guys had a chance to play it yet?
Yeah, it's good.
I did not play it, but I watched a bunch of people we all follow on YouTube do anywhere from, I watched a couple of 15-minute videos, a couple of 30-minute videos. I was at work pretty late, but I was able to just kind of put that off to the side and watch it. I mean, listen, graphically, it looks nice.
It does. I played it. I think it looks damn good.
Yeah.
I think substance-wise, lacking. Yeah, that's just, I mean, I think it's a game. I said this on BGST. I'll say it again on this show. I think in a week's time, 2 weeks' time, it's just going to fizzle out a bit. It's going to sell because of the Star Wars name. It's going to sell because it comes out a couple weeks before the movie. If that does well for sales, that's fine. But you'll see that the community just drop in a few weeks. I don't see the longevity. I just don't see it.
Yeah. Especially with Halo and Call of Duty coming up.
Right.
I saw Iron Wolf's tweet. Iron Wolf tweeted out earlier today. He says, anybody that's playing Call of Duty on his friends list 2 weeks after Halo comes out, he's unfriending him. I was like, man, dude.
Yeah, I'm done with Call of Duty. I'm not buying anymore. So
you know what? I think Activision. I think Activision is kind of at that point for me where I'm done with them. Like it's not just the Sony thing. It's just, look at what they're doing, right? They could still make money from backwards compatibility because what Microsoft is going to do is offer the games in a store backwards compatible on the Xbox One too. So they would still make money from that. Yeah. They would still make money, but they're choosing not to allow backwards compatibility on Xbox One. Not only are they doing that, but then what they're doing is kind of, being dicks about stuff like this. Like, I mean, come on, let's pull the digital pre-order of the Xbox One. I've never heard of anything like that. It's kind of, it's very shady. There's a lot of things going on. I don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes because Microsoft says, oh, we're not commenting, and Activision's like, blah, 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 just kind of running this, doing the politician thing. And, I just, look at their ports, too. Prototype 1 and 2, right?
Horrible.
Horrible, just ports. They're doing the same thing with, what the hell is that, Deadpool game? Yeah. It's just a port. They had the Walking Dead license. What do they do with that? They put out this terrible game. Just an awful, awful game. You know what I mean? They're becoming what people bitched about EA for years. You know what I mean? They're much worse than EA in my opinion. I mean, what's your guys' opinion on Activision?
I think the worst thing about them is that they don't evolve Call of Duty. At least this game been out so long, they could get it dedicated servers or get it a new engine. And like the damage already been done. Xbox fans, they buy it on Xbox. It's like you said with Metal Gear. Metal Gear is considered a PS4 game. So this game is already an Xbox game. It doesn't make any sense to waste money getting a deal on it.
Well, I got a couple of buddies. Like I said, I just had 3 guys work in my engineering firm. They bought Xboxes, and they're huge. They're not just Call of Duty fans. They're huge Black Ops fans. And they're, like, here's the thing. This was amazing. This was the conversation today. Forget my opinion. Everybody that's listening to the show knows what I'm going to say. So what I say is old news. This is coming from 3 guys they're not Xbox guys. They're Xbox guys, but they're not like the 3 of us. And it was amazing what they said. I said, hey, guys, are you guys getting Call of Duty this year? They buy it clockwork. Like, at 12:01, They're sparking up the multiplayer. They don't even play the campaign. They're multiplayer guys, and they're goddamn good at it too. And they're like, they paused and they're like, no, we're not getting Call of Duty this year. I go, get the hell out of here, you're not. And they're like, no. They're like, we're going Halo. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I thought I was gonna have to sit there and do my usual spiel. You know what I mean? I'm like, really? You guys are not? You're gonna pass on? They're like, well, to be honest with you, they're like, I was gonna get it for Black. They're like, we got the Xbox now because we were gonna get Call of Duty Black Ops 3 for it. But then he's like, I've been watching all this stuff on YouTube about Halo, and he's like, I have so much time to dedicate to multiplayer, so I'm gonna dedicate it to Halo. And I was like, oh shit. I mean, I really think that everybody has found out that COD is COD. Which Blaze just said it. COD is COD. Like, you're not getting, guys, it doesn't matter if it's called Black Ops 3 or Fantastic Fury 3. It doesn't matter what they call it. Who cares what they call it? They even got Kevin Spacey in the last one. No, starring Kevin Spacey, starring this and that, starring Michael J. Fox. Who gives a shit? Like, it's still COD. When it comes down to it, it's
starring Michael J. Fox with the shakes, too, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's all harder to hit. But, like, literally, it's like, it's just an amazing thing that, like, I think this is going to, and I said this a long time ago. Listen, someone wrote me on Twitter, they're like, oh, Moose, you think Activision's not going to make a ton of money in Call of Duty Black? No, Black Ops 3 is going to sell very well.
Yeah.
But when you go from 33 million copies to, hypothetically, I'm making this up, 26 million, which is still a large number. Don't forget, they're advertising, they're this, they're that. Those numbers go up every year. They don't go down, they go up. So if their numbers go up with just inflation, they just go up, and you make 7 million, or you sell 7 million less, it hurts, and they feel it, and each year they dwindle down the advertising, they dwindle down the hype, they dwindle down and that's what happened in World of Warcraft. I never played that, but I know tons of people that did. And they went from, my numbers are wrong here, so let's just say hypothetically they went from 50 million users, they're down to like 12. I mean, the numbers are so low. Nobody talks about it anymore. The commercials are dead. They had Mr. T, William Shatner. They had all these people doing World of Warcraft. They got rid of all of that because the community's dying. And you'll see. It's not going to happen this year. It'll happen next year, a little bit more, the year after that. So this is Halo kind of like kicking them in the junk. Yeah, they're good. They're ultimately beating them hard if they could take 6-7 million people away from that game. They're beating the shit out of them. And, like, that's the point. It's like, I don't know. Like, myself personally, I think Call of Duty, we all know it's on the decline. Forbes did an article on it last year that it was dropping in sales. They're like the 800-pound gorilla's dropping. It is what it is. And it was great to see 3 people that are so hardcore into Black Ops, like, say, no, we're actually going to pass this year. I was like, holy shit, I could not believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead, Blaze. Go ahead.
Now, just to say, during the 360, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 was one of my favorite games to play online.
You mean Call of Duty 4?
Yeah, Call of Duty 4 was one of my favorite games to play online. Yeah. But after the years passed, it just started getting boring after a while. So after Advanced Warfare, I'm pretty much done with the Call of Duty. I'm more excited for Halo. It looks fresh.
And here's the thing, right? Like with Call of Duty, I actually liked the campaign for Advanced Warfare. I thought it was cool. I played the online. I think I'm only level 22 or something, 23. I didn't even play it that long. I mean, they tried to add too much stuff to it. Call of Duty 4, I agree, Blazing Phoenix was the best one. Yeah. That's the one where, like, I put, no lie, I put 32 days on that on the 360, and I think I probably put another 12 or something on the PS3 version, which the PS3 version was so easy to play against that community because they aren't as good, in my opinion.
Horrible.
Yeah, like my KD is always like a point and a half higher on the PlayStation versions of these games. But on the just as far as the game goes, because there was a counter to everything, there was balance. It was just really well done. And then the kill streaks were simple. Everybody got 357. That's it, right? If they wanted to add something, hey, let you take down the UAVs. Cool, I'm with you on that. Make it so you can call in your chopper and it'll queue up. I'm with you on that. But why did they have to start making it to where there's 100 kill streaks and there's always this shit that's blowing you up? To me, like when I was playing Black Ops 1, I liked it. I was like, I like that game. I liked, it was kind of in the past. I dig it. And then Black Ops 2 went way into the future, right? And Black Ops 3 is even further in the future. Advanced Warfare is in the future. Ghost is in the future. It's like that's gotten really stale. And here's the thing: Call of Duty is kind of that situation where it's pop culture. So a lot of people just get it because it's Call of Duty.
Yeah, like
you know
Madden.
what I mean? Like, let's get Call of Duty, let's get Madden. You know what I mean? And this is what happens. And I think that that's kind of unfortunate because, you know, a lot of smaller games or other games should be getting that hype, and instead it goes to Call of Duty. Like, I saw this thing where it's the most anticipated game of the year. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, who the hell is anticipating this game? You know, I mean, it had an okay beta, but it was like,
Yeah,
Jesus,
it was
it's Call
nothing
of
new.
Duty. It felt just like Call of Duty. You know what I mean? It's like at the end of the day, it's still Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And just getting back to Battlefront real quick, like, what are your guys' thoughts? Like, the 900p on PS4, 720 on Xbox One. But here's the thing, right? People will focus on the 720, but why not the 900p? Isn't 900p a big deal when Xbox One game is in 900p, but now suddenly it's not a big deal because the PS4. See, this goes back to my original thought that PlayStation gamers don't care about 1080p. They only care that their version is slightly more resolution than the Xbox version. So, I mean, that's pretty shitty in my opinion. Those are like, people that think that way are kind of scumbag in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of scumbags. So, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Like, I think it's a little bit of lazy developers. I think, you know, I do realize that the Frostbite engine is resource heavy, but at the end of the day, come on, man, this is like 2+ years almost. You know what I mean? Come on.
It's almost a little deliberate, you know. Look, anybody who watched and fast forwarded 43 minutes into the Phil Spencer, they did the big Brazil Xbox One show today, or it was yesterday or today. But anyways, it hit YouTube today. And if you went to 43 minutes in, Remedy comes out and shows you another clip that no one's seen yet of Quantum Break. And when you look at a game like Quantum Break, granted, the game was made for Xbox One. But when you see what the Xbox One can do, and then you saw I watched the video on the forging with the professionals that forged out and what they did on Halo 5, and I saw how they were like, it was just crisp, gorgeous. Look, you can't pull the wool over our eyes anymore. It is lazy development. It's lazy development because of, I said this again, they had to hurry it. We've all known, anybody who's been a gamer since the 80s knows this, okay? Whenever a movie comes out, a movie game comes out shortly thereafter. And when it does come out, it's rushed. The deadline is not by the publisher. The deadline is the movie. You can't have the game come out 6 months after the movie when you're trying to really tie the two together. So this has been rushed. So what did they do? They slapped it together. I know it's not, by no means did I think it looked like a Battlefield game. I did not. I think they did a good job of not making it feel or look like a Battlefield game. But it was rushed to the extent that they couldn't do anything. They used the same premise as Battlefield, like say in Frostbite, which is why Battlefield 4 was in 720p. And Battlefield Hardline was in 720p. They're just rushing these things out just to make a quick buck, which is, shame on... it's EA, correct? And just shame on EA for that. We shit on Activision over and over again. Activision's principles and what they're doing right now with the whole Call of Duty thing, that's all going to transpire. That's all going to come to fruition. We're all going to see what the hell happened with that in the upcoming weeks. But what EA's doing is really money grabbing here by allowing this thing to just get popped out. Like personally, yes, you make more money by having this game released 3-4 weeks before the movie, but it's a Star Wars game. And it's not called the what is it there? The Awaken or the Force Awakens. It's not called that. So they could have released it in February. They could have released it, but they want to make that extra buck because while everybody's buying new looking what do you call it, lightsabers and T-shirts, with a new version of Darth Maul that's coming out, it's going to be like they can benefit to reap the benefits of that. The sales on that. But the point of the matter I'm trying to make here is it's deliberate. It's just a lazy development crew because we all know this now. The Xbox, look, when the Xbox is not 1080p, which it usually is now, it's 900p. So you can't tell me, you add better frame rates. You can't tell me that you couldn't get it to 900p. That's just like, I don't feel like doing it. We already have this set up. Yes, the Xbox is 720p. Deal with it. And you know what I gotta say? I wasn't buying it anyway. This doesn't hurt me. I wasn't.
Buy it used.
But or buy it used.
I'm a hey, what's up, Iron Wolf? You
what's up, man?
How's made it going? Yeah, you did. Here's what's interesting about Battlefront. I'm a Battlefront player from the original Battlefront and Battlefront 2. Those were my first clan-based games. That's what got me into clan gaming, and I love that. I think Battlefront, the new one, It sounds great. It sounds like Star Wars Battlefront. Yeah, I mean, it sounds fantastic. I'm not going to lie. It does. It plays good. What's a little bit odd, and maybe you'll be able to do this in setting, is every time you spawn in, you have to change it to third person if you want to be third person. You have to press down on the D-pad or whatever. I didn't like that. I just would like the option just to be third person all the time because it takes time, and sometimes while I was doing that, I would get killed.
Pop you.
Yeah, so I mean, I did manage. I think my first map I went like 12 and 10, not great, but not terrible, especially since I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But like, it does play like Battlefront. It's a little bit easy to snipe. I think people are gonna like probably abuse that a little bit much.
Boomstick too strong.
Yeah, like it is. You know what I mean? But I thought overall that they did a pretty good job with it. It plays like Battlefront. And it looks like Battlefront, like I could care less about playing another fucking Battle of Hoth, because to be honest with you, I've done that damn Battle of Hoth to death. Like every game has Battle of Hoth. It's like that snow level, like Jesus, why do you got to do the snow level over and over and over again? But overall, I thought it was still fun. Does it have the content to maybe warrant a $60 purchase? I don't know. I'm going to play some of these single-player missions. I only did the multiplayer first, which the first time I tried to do it, it took me a little while to get in, and I had to back out. And then once I did that, I found the match pretty quickly. But I think it looks good. Like, you can't really tell the 720p stuff. I played it on PS4 as well. I downloaded both. I think they both look the same. I lagged around more on the PlayStation 4 version. The Xbox One version was smoother. Again, this all comes down to Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. So I think at the end of the day, if you're thinking of picking up either one, I'd pick up the one that has the Xbox Live, because to me that's much more important than resolution, especially 900p to 720p, which is pretty much, you're not going to really notice it. Because if you look at Battlefield Hardline, that was the same deal, right? But then you even look at places like Digital Foundry to say the image quality is very high on the Xbox One version, and the details and things like that. So while we know that the PS4 version can probably do 900p based on just more raw horsepower up front, I think that you're going to sacrifice some stuff to even get that to the 900p on that. So, I mean, what do you guys think about the 900p, 720p shit?
You go, Ray, since you just got here.
Yeah, I just think personally, if there's going to be any disparity on this game in terms of resolution, at least give us the dedicated servers, you know what I'm saying? If they're going to give the higher resolution to Sony and the Sony fans, for that crowd, at least give us a dedicated servers. It will make much more sense. The servers are there. It's there for all third-party developers to use for free, and they're not really jumping on board.
Well, they don't want to do any favors for Microsoft or us. They don't care. They really don't. All the favors are left. It's all on the left-hand side. It's all for Sony. They don't do any favors for Microsoft. When have we, the other half of the people that pay these companies the money for these games, when have they ever given the other half one leg up? We've never gotten the leg up, even though, like you said, we have the dedicated servers. We have that ability. That's why I look at it as laziness, and I look at it as it's deliberate.
Yeah, and one of these games supposed to have some DirectX 12 usage. They were supposed to make some use of DirectX 12. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that, and I read many articles about that where the developers are talking about DirectX 12, but it didn't really happen, man.
Maybe in Battlefield 5.
Probably, but the Frostbite engine was meant to have DirectX 12 built in, just like the Unreal Engine 4.
Well, didn't they say that, or DICE or EA, one of them, I think it was DICE, was saying that they want to have DirectX 12 as the standard by the end of next year? Man, who's got that damn beta program on the dashboard, man? You're getting a lot of announcements there. Yeah, boop. Geez, and we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about that a little bit too, the thing. But yeah, for me, like I said, I lag a lot on, because I go wireless with both, right? And I think the Xbox One's wireless is better. I mean, I don't have the best connection anyway as far as internet, but I think that for me, I saw a lot of people lagging. It was the same way with the Black Ops beta. A lot of people lagging on the PS4. I played both. I was never, ever going to get it on PS4 anyway, but it's still fun to kind of just judge for myself, where people are like, oh my god, it looks blurry on Xbox, and I'm looking at it, it looks exactly the fucking same. So I just always think that that's completely ridiculous and bullshit and PR and all that stuff, because I think that at the end of the day, It's just it looks exactly the goddamn same. There was nothing blurry about it. There was, it was the same game.
If anything, I think the particle effects look better on the Xbox One, and plus, obviously, the frame rates were smooth. Because I actually downloaded it on the PS4 too, and to be honest, in terms of visuals, it looks the same, but the frame rates, the chaos on screen, the Xbox One version is still running more smooth.
Me personally, I don't care about resolution. Like, you ever call your friend and be like, "Oh man, you see Halo 5? I wonder if that's 1080p." You never talked about this growing up. Like, we used to say, what was better, Mario or Sonic? We used to talk about games we enjoyed. We never talked about resolution. So as the game is fun, I'm gonna buy it. I don't care about resolution. But it's funny that Sony fans all of a sudden they care about resolution, and then all they talk about is like indie games. They be talking about Tropico 5 and No Man's Sky. They care about resolution. It doesn't make any sense. So I just don't understand that. They love indie games. They were talking about Tropico 5 and all these little indie games. Then they go, Xbox are 1080p games. They can't run 1080p.
Well, here's the thing, Blazing Phoenix. They love 1080p, but then the games that they're playing most of all is stuff like soccer cars, which who even cares if that's 1080p? You know what I mean? Like, it looks like shit. It looks like a last-gen game or a 2-generation ago game. You know what I mean? It's like, let's play Thomas Was Alone. That's a little 8-bit little weird game. Like these games that they talk about, Hotline Miami or whatever. These games look like shit. They look like games from 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so they're bragging and again, they're moving the goalposts around to suit whatever their argument is at that particular time. Oh, 1080p or death. But then when Battlefront's 900p, that's okay because the Xbox One version is less. So it's not really 1080p that matters to them. It's the fact that they have a little bit more pixels to argue and beat their chests over, their little bird chests. They're like, boop, 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 boop. You know what I'm saying? It's like
about that too. Now Sony fans love shooters. Remember before they said they didn't like third-party marketing deals? And last generation,
they're not into bro shooters, dude. They're not into Call of Duty or Battlefront.
That's what they've been playing.
Anything like that. I know, right? Or Destiny. Oh, except for Sony has marketing deals with all of those games.
Yeah, Fallout. They had it with was it Far Cry 4? They had it with Witcher, not the Witcher. What's that game called?
Mad Max. They had
Mad Max or shooters.
Mad Max, yeah. Well, that was a third-person kind of shooter, but I mean, at least it was a little bit different. But yeah, for the most part, they're kind of shoving the whole shooter genre down everybody's throats. Killzone or what have you. You know what I mean? And I get it, but it's like at the same time, it's like, how can the PlayStation fanboys and Sony be like, oh, well, the Xbox is the dude bro box and all this? People, take a look at Xbox's lineup next year. There's not a single first-person shooter in that lineup. You know what I mean? You've got a lot of different things in there. You got an RTS in there. You've got really good variety, and I think that's starting to be Microsoft's forte.
Yeah, Sony fans switched this generation.
Guess what? They're getting all the games too. The Xbox One is. They're getting, you know what I mean? They're going to get a bunch of ports. Wait till like the Windows 10 and stuff. I mean, there's going to be so many overrun with a bunch of Windows apps and shit. It's going to be ridiculous. You know what I mean?
We're not even talking about games like Gigantic. We're not even talking about games like Fable Legends. I mean, there's a lot of shit coming to Xbox One that we're going to move the goalpost. But I mean, as far as the criteria and the standards are going to expand, and these are all things, okay? Whether we're talking about cloud-based or cross-platform, meaning PC to Xbox. I know PlayStation says, listen, they say they can do it. Do you see the games that Microsoft is actually doing? Fable Legends is a massive game. It's basically a AAA. That's going to be a free-to-play. Gigantic is gigantic. And then Sony's like, but no, we're doing it too. It's Street Fighter V, one-on-one. It's like, what? Who gives a shit? That's not impressive to me at all. Like, that's very simplistic. That's something that maybe Microsoft's like, yeah, we did that like 6 years ago. Like, again, everything that Microsoft does, Sony does it later. They advertise it like a holy shit event. But, like, Street Fighter V, who the fuck is going to turn on their PS4 one day and be like, I wonder if my friend on the PC wants to play against me in Street Fighter V? Who says that? That doesn't even make any sense. Out. What the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't. A friend of mine, I was telling him, Wolf, you came in a little late. 3 buddies of mine that worked in my office got Xbox Ones the past few days, and I was telling them about the streaming we have, right? Any Windows 10 device in your house. And he goes, but if I'm not mistaken, he goes, can't you do that on the PS4? I said, you can do it on the little Vita, the little 4-inch screen with the little M&M, with the M&M analog sticks. Yeah, that you can do it on that. Like, Who the fuck is gonna do? I mean, he goes, wait, you're telling me I can go? I said, you can take your laptop and go USB to HDMI. You can go into your bedroom and play while your wife and kids are watching something in the other room. You can jam out wherever you want. Anywhere you have a tablet or anything that's Windows 10 in your house, you can be out on your deck. You can be drinking, this and that. You can be by your pool. You can do anything you want and be playing a game. That's amazing. He's like, holy shit, that absolutely trumps the PS4 and their Vita. Streaming. I'm like, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Microsoft is the big boys. Sony does everything on this little small like child network. PSN's like a child network. Go ahead, Blake.
You're starting to see the difference between Microsoft and Sony. Did you see that Windows event they had with all those incredible new gadgets they're coming out with?
Yeah.
You can see Microsoft is starting to turn into like the new Apple. Like they're really getting like that presentation was cool. It was like a Steve Jobs presentation. Yes. So you're starting to see the difference between the two companies. Like Microsoft is really going forward. Like you see the Xbox One, it has so many features, a ton of AAA exclusives, and it's just Sony can't compete with Microsoft in those terms.
Yeah, and you know what I like? Just 1 second. I just want to say something. What I like best about their presentation that they did is so many people are like, Microsoft is looking to get out of the hardware business, and what do they come out with? Like this ultimate fucking laptop that just destroys any other laptop on the market. Yeah. You can imagine. I think that their new focus is just having the most powerful hardware. You look at the Surface Pro.
Hey, can I just say this right now?
Yeah.
I hope to God that I said this like a year ago. I think all of us have said this, but I know I said it a year ago. I said when Xbox 2 comes out, just like everything else, you just said it, Crap.
I hope they don't call it Xbox 2.
No. It is going to have the most powerful fucking components in it that you've ever seen in your life. I promise you that. They will never, ever go through this again. They will make sure. Yeah, well, even if they don't buy it, Blaze, let me tell you what they are going to do. They're going to buy the best chipset they can get. Trust me. They will not. That's their new mantra. Like you said, the number one thing they said during that presentation was stronger than the MacBook Pro. Boom. Yeah. That was a huge drop, okay? That's a bold statement to say against Apple because everybody knows that everything from Industrial Light and Magic to Hollywood is using the MacBook Pros to create movies, okay? That's a powerful, powerful machine. So to come out and say that, guess what they're definitely, if they're beating out Apple in power that makes movies that we all drop our jaw, they're going to kick Sony's ass.
I can't wait the next one.
Me too. I'm already excited. If you you guys are already excited for next gen? Dude, I get excited for my new phone after I get a new phone. Of course I'm excited for next gen.
Well, the interesting thing is we're not going to have a long generation like before, and this generation isn't exactly probably the upgrade that a lot of people envision or like previous ones, you know what I mean? Like, so I could see them trying to push out another quick one, with the physical media and stuff. I think that the next one's going to have the physical stuff too, and we did that Seamus Blackley interview, and he even said that there would probably be another Xbox and another, console cycle. So I mean, I just think that it all comes down to the developer. Then who's left? I mean, we got developers closing the doors all the time.
Get rid of GameStop.
Yeah, I mean, probably right, dude. GameStop said physical's going to be around forever, though. So I mean,
yeah. And think about this. Think about this. On top of that, Satya Nadella mentioned the Xbox and Xbox Live many times at that Windows presentation. And all the other people that were presenting each of the phones and everything like that, they were talking about Xbox all the time. So it goes to show they're not going to spin off the Xbox division. No. And plus, they bought Havoc. They bought Havoc, and they probably buy it in.
Yeah.
They're in it for the long run.
Well, you know what that means is no matter who buys what, they still win. You know what I mean? Like that's how you win.
Yeah. Buy that Uncharted 4. We gonna get paid.
Exactly, that Horizon Zero Dawn game that's using Havoc.
Zero Dawn. You know what you can do? Too bad PS4 doesn't have Snap, because while you're playing that game, you can actually watch a movie that has a story.
Hey, dude. Oh. Actually, Sony's going to make merchandise out of that. They filed all these patents for merchandising license and all this stuff. There's going to be T-shirts and toys and probably.
I'm going to buy the first shirt. It's going to say Horizon Event Zero on the front, and the back it'll be like, what? Literally, nobody knows what it's about. I love how the media, after they showed that, was all over its nuts. It was like, my God, that's a great game. I would have raised my hand and been like, what's it about? Oh, I don't know, but did you see that thing? Like,
yeah, did you see it? It looked great. It had a Dinobot and.
Yeah, if you're gonna drool over that, your jaw should hit the floor from Quantum Break.
And scale.
Come on.
Oh no, dude! Like the same people, they were all like, "Man, Horizon looks great." When they saw Scalebound, was like, "Meh, it looks stupid," or you know what I mean? It's like that's the shit you got to put up with, and that's pretty unfortunate in my opinion. You know what I mean? I think that look, when Horizon came out, that was an interesting looking game, but only because when you look at the rest of Sony shit at E3, it was so terrible.
Exactly.
We had nothing. We were falling asleep, Mooch. We did the live show. We were like, "Oh my god, this is so boring." They opened up with that same tired clip from. Yeah, from that damn.
I'll just Scalebound alone.
It
literally, it destroys the whole entire PS4 library for 2016. Not an opinion, fact.
Fair.
That's right.
Yeah, like you're starting to see the difference between the Xbox and the PS4. Like you said, if you go to GameStop and you look on the wall and you see Tearaway and No Man's Sky, and you see games like that, and you look to your right and you see Halo 5, you see Gears of War 4, you see Quantum Break, and all these amazing games, which console are you going to gravitate towards?
Well, I'll tell you a story. My older brother, right? My older brother was a PlayStation dude last generation. He had a couple Xboxes that Red Ring, and he was like, F Xbox, I'm going to get a PlayStation 3. And then so when he was asking me, he was like, so which one, and I said, well, I'm getting an Xbox One. And he's like, why? I says, well, just because they have, I was like Killer Instinct, Dead Rising 3, Rise, Forza. I was like, they have, and Titanfall is coming out in March. This is, got to remember before launch. So then he called me up, after launch or whatever, and he's like, yeah, he goes, I went with the Xbox One. And I asked him why. He goes, because I was looking at the games, and both of them had the same exact games, but the Xbox One had ones that weren't on the PS4, so that's why he went with the Xbox One. See, if my brother, who's stupid, can figure this out, you know what I mean, then anybody should be able to figure out, you buy the one that has the most games that aren't on the other platform, and that is the facts, and Microsoft is winning that battle. I don't care. You can sit there and show me that fucking list with all those damn weirdo games that nobody's heard of or cares about, but at the end of the day, when you go into a store like average Billy Bob does, and you look at what's offered there, there's the same shit on both, and then there's a bunch of other shit that's not on the PS4 on the Xbox One to buy it, and that's why you see that it's actually doing well. It's a fallacy that the Xbox One's not selling well. We know it's doing extremely well. It's not doing as well as the PS4. That's fine. It can still do well and sell a lot of units and games without beating the PS4. People are like so confused. Like, look at last gen. Wii, over 100 million. What, the 360, like 90 million. PS3, like 80-some million. There was no real losers. There's plenty of room for 3 to be successful, and just because the PS4 is doing well doesn't mean the Xbox One's doing shitty.
Yeah, but no matter how much, Sony, Yoshida, Adam Boyce, Kazariad, they want to, do these marketing deals with, Call of Duty, Battlefront, and all these shooters they're trying to push this generation. People are always going to buy on Xbox because of the controller and because of Xbox Live. What
do you guys think about the diamond thing? Like, do you see people trying to get the diamond, grip on all the Xbox One controllers?
Well, I'm a fan of that, but I mean that's me personally. I just feel like
I don't have that yet. Like, but is it a big difference?
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't. Are you talking about the new controllers that came out in the 1 terabyte? Or are you talking about the
elite, like the
diamond, the elite controller that's going to feature? Well, the elite, I don't have the elite controller yet either. It's en route, hopefully. I'm supposed to be getting it the day it comes. I can't wait. But like, I'll be honest with you, that I think is necessary. I don't like the sleek, that plastic material that's on the controllers now, the ones we got day one. It's just, don't get me wrong, it never slides out of my hand, or it's never an issue like that. But it just doesn't feel quality enough. I want more of that grip. I'd like to be able to have a little bit more grip. It doesn't have to be like, that really rough. I don't think the one that you're talking about, that diamond, is a very subtle grip. It's nice. I think it should be standard. I do.
Yeah. I think so. Like, it looks good. Like, I'm not really worried about, I never really think about this stuff. Like, when people were like, there's a dead zone on the Xbox One controller, I fucking spent an hour one day looking for that. You know what I mean? I was like, I couldn't find shit.
I heard a few idiots talking about it.
The guy who's infamous for saying it is the king of all flip-floppers. But like, that what he did, he also made a video a couple days ago saying that this generation isn't all that. Let me tell you about this generation. This generation, if you want to put a positive spin on it, is basically, and I know for you non-iPhone users, I apologize for the analogy, but it's like the 6S, okay? Where it's the same thing, like it's not that much of an upgrade from the last one, but it's got some amazing goddamn features. What you're getting in this generation, and Microsoft is just slowly getting to it, is what you're going to see in games like Scalebound, Quantum Break, Crackdown. You're going to see things in technology that we haven't had yet. They may not blow your mind quite yet, but when you see what they're going to be doing, like they said, when they bought Havoc, we're going to start using it on games like Crackdown 3. If Crackdown 3 makes your jaw hit the ground, wait till you see what Xbox 2 has coming. I mean, they're already in... Listen, production for these things is a while away, but development is it's well underway. As a matter of fact, well over a year ago, when Phil Spencer took over, one of his first moves was he hired 2 or 3 of the best electrical engineers in the business. Anybody out there, the salary was no question. You're fucking amazing. We want you. There's nobody that can beat the salary I'm going to pay you. Come in here for 3, 4, 5 years. Make an amazing device for me, an amazing console that does everything I just told you, and then some, and then you can go wherever you want again if you want to leave. And that's what he did. He put those job sites are always out, and a couple of the YouTube channels pick up on it, like Red Gaming Tech. Like I said, he's a pony, but I'll give him credit. He does do a lot of good news source. So he does. His news is actually, but he's a pony.
But think about all that processing power through the cloud. You know what I'm saying? And, developers are going to have all that power to use for their games, and plus it's going to free up everything that's on the console, so that's going to be more power that devs can save for whatever thing, whether it's in-game assets, resolution, whatever, or even more AI on screen. It's all there. And then you got the GPU rendering. Man, the sky's the limit with this thing. And I don't know, me personally...
Would you say it's more powerful than 4?
I say 6 Titans.
Well, the cloud.
I'm not touching any of that shit, but I think that it's funny that people jumped on you for your opinion.
But those Azure those supercomputers that they have in those Azure centers, they're supercomputers, and they do have the best GPUs and the best CPUs. Think about the stacks and stacks that they have, and how they could just use those towards their games. Come on, man.
I do.
Why would I lie about that? I'm not talking out my ass. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the people making dude, oh come on, Blazy, you're gonna get a video. The people making Crackdown 3, right? They said that they can't do that rendering with that full scale damage with their high end like $20,000 PCs. Right? They can't do that alone with those. It needs the cloud for that computing to do that. So I think that there is probably some kind, and I'm not a technical kind of guy, but I think that there is obviously big time advantages to using like the Azure stuff. Like, did you guys hear Elite Dangerous on Xbox clouds for like computing and stuff? That's how they're getting away with I guess a lot of the destruction or like the mass world or whatever it is. I read that, so I would love to see more third-party developers actually use that, for destruction or for exploration, just whatever to make the games better. Even if it's a game like Call of Duty, why not use Microsoft servers for free and give that version, good servers for a change? Because I know Activision sucks at that. They're like, we swear it's dedicated servers this year. Yeah, it's dedicated servers this year, and then next thing you know, you get the game and you're playing it, and it's like connection to host lost, or the host quit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, come on, man, migrating host.
I think Microsoft should make it mandatory to have dedicated servers if it's an online game. You know how Sony be pushing the 1080p will give me that? I think Microsoft should sit down with the developers and say, look, if you want to put this game on our console, you got to use our servers if it's a multiplayer game. You got to put it on the dedicated servers. You got to take advantage of it.
I don't know why Microsoft don't really call out these. They don't really call out these developers. Yeah, it is a good point because they don't really call out these developers, and I don't know why. Microsoft should call out EA for Battlefront, and they should also call out Activision for Call of Duty.
Just put your hand on the shoulder.
What the fuck is going on here, man?
And Phil Spencer should just put his hand on the shoulder, take him in the corner, and be like, look, you're going to use the servers.
Yeah.
Well, you think you should strong arm him?
Yeah, just take him, put his arm around him, Sony, you got to use
Sony, listen, I got news for you, Crap. Sony has done the same thing with whether it was 1080p or in the case of 900p. They definitely put their hand on his shoulder and said, listen, you will make our game at the high. They probably didn't say you'll make it better than Xbox, but they said is you will make it as high as is possible. As high as you could possibly go. If it's one more P than the competition that you can pull, do it. And that's, I guarantee you that conversations happen. Now it may not need to happen because they've made it their industry standard, but that's what Blazen's saying. Blazen's saying it's time to say when you're making a multiplayer game, there's no reason you can't make our version on our servers. We're not charging you. We're not charging you. Why would you not take that? And now there's a couple of companies like maybe EA where they want to use their own, fine, but the rest of these other guys, they don't have a reason. They're not big enough.
Yeah, you know, I agree with you. I think that I would love to see people use it. Unfortunately, unless Microsoft can close the gap a lot more, I don't know if we'll see a lot of the adoption for the Azure servers or destruction or anything like that. I hope to see some of that in some multi-platform games. It'd be cool. I think it'd be awesome.
Especially for the 2K servers, you know, for all the sports games, the EA servers, the Ubisoft servers, and obviously the Call of Duty servers.
Imagine they're using Grand Theft Auto 6.
It'll be a great incentive. Yeah, it'll be a great incentive to buy an Xbox One for these multi-plat games because they're running on the best servers in the business.
Yeah, exactly. Let me ask you guys something. What do you guys think about the new Xbox One dashboard? I just want to say what I think real quick. I like it. It's buggy as hell. I think that they need to change some things on it because, like, the tiles for some reason are giant, like they're huge, like they're like blind people tiles. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like they're huge. I do like it. Like I said, it's buggy as hell. Like for some reason, it'll just be like this game's ready, and I'm like, what the fuck? you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it kept popping up there.
Yeah, or it's like
crazy. Are you guys getting like it'll say your external storage is ready.
That's what mine does too. And then it's like, or it'll be like this person's online, and then 5 minutes later this person's online. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, there are a few issues, but I think it's much faster because, like I said before, with the old one, I had trouble. I could never view like when people had liked my alerts and things like that. It would just say can't get that right now. And now I have no problems doing that, so I like that. I think it's fast. You know, I like how they've, you know, I don't even mind the snap on the left. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I just, you know, I think that it is.
People keep saying snap on the left. I think we're confusing terminology here. It doesn't snap on the left. Your work guide is on the left, but snap is still on the right.
Yeah. The work guide is on the left, and the normal stuff, like when you say snap achievements or whatever, would still be on the right. Yeah. I had trouble playing some stuff too, like it's weird. Netflix would have this issue sometimes. I don't know, but it is a beta, so I have to say that. I mean, like
my biggest beef, and I'm concerned about it. You got a lot of people see me on Twitter complain about it, and the reason I've already, you know, I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I went to the forums each night. I'm going to do it again tonight because I haven't turned on the X1 yet, but my Kinect works for like voice commands kinda now, and it doesn't sign me in anymore. It doesn't recognize me. I have to manually sign in every night. And then when I go to it won't, you know, it said I wasn't recognized. When I go to that, it has, you know how usually it's got your name and then your icon over your head? It's got my wife's icon over my head and my name. And then it doesn't.
I know you messaged me. You're like, hey, is it showing me as online? I'm like, yeah, dude, it's showing you online.
Well, the reason I want to know is I want to know if you were seeing me online or if it was my wife's profile online. I didn't know who was gonna. I don't know what was showing up. I don't know what's going on. So there was that whole thing, and then or what was the last but not least? The reason I've been kind of just, and I write to Mike Ibarra too every day, is just because I feel like with a lot of these bundles and promotions they've had, a lot of them don't have Connect. I don't want them to like not take the Connect ones as serious as they're taking the other ones, because to me that's a large part of me enjoying my X1 experience is my Connect. So the fact that I got into it, for me it's a little bittersweet. And when I know I signed in, I'm an adult, I know what I signed up for, but I did sit there for a good 30 minutes and read over the things online and the warnings of saying, hey, when you get into this is what it's going to be, because I was like, I want to do it because I want to contribute my opinion in situations like tonight. Yeah. But I didn't want to do it because, dude, I work all day, I come home, take care of the kids, family, this, that.
You want a trouble-free experience when you get
I just want to hang out and play or watch a movie and not have the thing. Like, I went to go put a Blu-ray movie in to watch with the kids last night, and if you don't hit the OK button, like I have the Xbox One media remote. If you know how it's got the center OK, we'll call it the OK button, the middle button. When it came to play movie, if I just hit the play, the horizontal triangle button,
It won't work.
No, it popped me back to the dashboard.
Oh,
if I hit the OK button or the center button in the middle, then it played. And it's like it's just all this bugginess and the stuff you said. Crap is all for me too.
I'll tell you this. Like I was playing Halo Master Chief Collection yesterday, and I'm trying to get like the terminals right to get those achievements.
Yeah.
And so, but it's like when I do it, it's like hold on, Halo channel needs an update. Like I don't have any idea why you got to go to the Halo channel to view those terminals, but that was a terrible idea. And and so it's like it needs an update, and then it won't update, and then it puts me back in there, and then it's stuck on pause, and then 2 minutes later it'll say something went wrong. It's taking too long. It'll it's like buggy as hell. Like I will say that, but it's like I like the overall look at it. It needs a little bit of work here and there. I've already kind of went to the forums and kind of spoke my piece about it. Like I like this. I think that they need to make the icon smaller, tighten it up. But overall, I love it.
Yeah, no,
I love the overall look of it. It's very faster than a PS4, in fact. But the community side of it, I think they need to fix that a little bit and integrate, your avatars and everything like that. That would be cool. And the store, I believe, stop mixing those indies with those AAAs.
Yeah, bring back the arcade.
It really annoys the fuck out of me. It really does. And bring back the arcade. And
what's wrong with what's wrong with having separate things? You know what I mean? Like, here's your these titles, and then here's arcade. Just even if they don't want to like segregate arcade and indies, then just do arcade then. You know what I mean? And like you can still keep them at 1,000 gamer score because I actually like that. But it's like, geez, like they totally like everything. It's like indies, like I everywhere.
It's shuffling it together, right? So, and that's the shit that annoys me. Yeah, that's annoying.
It does. It annoys me too.
I'm getting sick and tired of indie games.
Well,
I did see that Xbox One. Oh, go ahead, Mooch.
No, I was just gonna say my whole thing with the indie world is. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can I just say one more thing?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Say one more thing.
Okay.
Please, Microsoft. Let me play my music in the background.
Yeah.
Please, I beg. That has 20,000 votes on the Xbox Feedback website, and nobody's doing nothing. You know what I'm saying?
I have a question. This is a question, and I'm glad you brought it up, Wolf. Coming from someone that's, don't get me wrong, I think that's a very, very valid request. Very valid. But here's my thing. How do people... This is something I just never did. Maybe it's because I just missed that train. I never play music in the background because the games I'm generally playing, I want to hear what's going on in the game. Yeah. I don't understand. Like, what am I missing there? And that's a genuine
question. All right.
Genuine question.
Not every game you're going to be doing that. Let's just say for Forza, I'm definitely going to do it.
Okay, good call.
I like driving and I like listening to my own songs. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I used to do that on the OG Xbox, and I used to do it on the 360. And if those old consoles, you know what I mean, old gen hardware can do it, why can't the Xbox One?
Yeah, no. The reason it doesn't have it, you're right. That doesn't hold any water why they shouldn't have implemented that by now. So I agree with you. But except for games, I've been really thinking about this. So Forza is a great call out. Even games like Destiny, where there's no story, you're just kind of just doing missions, that would be pretty cool. Right? So that would be fine. But like even Halo. Like I even though I played Halos to death, I still like listening. I guess for me, I just haven't found a lot of games that I would want to blast my tunes in the background. I actually like listening to music and the amazing voice actors.
Yeah, dubstep in Forza 6. So come on.
He's over there.
No. Actually, I gotta be honest with you. I gotta thank Iron Wolf. He made a very good point. Like I wasn't thinking. Games that are racing games like that. That there's no story to it or no talk. I would definitely rather hear my own music than dubstepping. I hear that. But yeah.
And even multiplayer, if you're playing multiplayer,
like Call of Duty,
you don't really care about. Yeah, even with multiplayer, it's not gonna have no music, so you shouldn't really care.
And you know what? It's a step back because one of the things is. And like I remember playing NFL 2K5 on the original Xbox, right? And when I played like the season mode, I had ripped my CDs, and you can have certain songs play at certain times during that game. Like, you score a touchdown, so you could play, a certain song would play when I would play like my friends like locally or whatever. You know what I mean? that was cool to me. So why is it now we're like all these years later and we don't have that option like I do? Like, and people swear we never call out Microsoft or Xbox, but here we are.
Yeah, that was
yet
great.
again calling them out.
That's the basic shit that we just need, really. You can still play music, but you need that app snapped on the side. And I really don't want to do that because I don't want to lose, my full screen, and I don't want to lose, the full experience when I'm playing my games.
Just I'm gonna hook my iPod up to it or rip CDs on it and then play it in the back. Like I used to do that when I played Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly. Did you guys hear? This is actually pretty big news. The Xbox One is outselling the PS4 in Latin America, and actually Latin America is actually an up-and-coming place that buys games. So this is a pretty big territory for Microsoft to be winning. And props to our Latin American friends. ¿Cómo estás? Welcome to Xbox. Yes,
absolutely. I mean that's true, crap. That is a huge market. That's a huge market.
More relevant in Japan. It's more relevant in Japan. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. 100%. 100%
Well, they buy
accurate.
consoles and they buy games. Sorry.
Well, you know what's interesting is, did you guys see Phil Spencer went to like this Brazil game show or whatever, right? Like, I guess the Xbox One does really well in Brazil because they have a factory there and they were able to lower the price where the PS4 is or something. So I liked it, and you know what I like about that is Microsoft is doing like this grassroots campaign, right? Going to these smaller places, talking to the people, implementing ideas and things like that. They did a couple smaller Japanese shows. It didn't get a lot of press, but they did do some, and I think that just goes to show you that they're doing like this grassroots kind of campaign, and I really like that. What do you guys think about their kind of grassroots campaign? And also today, they've come out with this new video, like 10 reasons to buy an Xbox One this Christmas or this holiday. Like, for me, I really enjoyed that. I thought it was really cool how they almost listened to the fans. That looks like almost something like that I would have come up with. You know what I mean?
That was a video version of Tim Dog's blueprint.
Yeah, like I said, yeah.
Yeah,
see, they need to do more marketing like that.
Yeah, Tim Dog did a hell of a job with that blueprint, man.
And that's what that was. I mean, Aaron Greenberg said, I like that. I think they took that and ran with it.
Yeah, I even used it on the Xbox fan page that I admin and put that up because I thought it was awesome. Because you have to remember, whenever somebody says something to me, I have to say you have to remember that people as a whole are stupid, right? And people look at me when I say that, right? And it is like individually, we're kind of smart when we think for ourselves. The problem is we rarely think for ourselves anymore these days. We have this mob mentality. If something's cool, we're more likely to like it. That's just how we work. Like it takes a very kind of independent person to think for themselves and to think outside of the box. You know what I mean? Most people that buy a PS4 over an Xbox One right now probably don't even know why they're buying that over the Xbox One. You know what I mean? Maybe their friend has it. They just think it's cool. The media hypes it up or what have you. But at the end of the day, people are stupid. So you have to make sure you kind of explain things in a literal way. That advertisement is great because it says everything. Play all the biggest blockbusters. Play all these other games that you can't get anywhere else. We've got backwards compatibility. We've got DX12. We got all this stuff. You know what I mean? I absolutely love it. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I'm glad that they're listening. And to me, it's just a situation where I love it, man. I can't say enough good things about it. What did you guys think about their campaign now?
You see that Tim Dog sticker that you're talking about? I believe they should print like big stickers and just stick them on the box.
You put it on the box.
Put it on the box. Or make T-shirts about it.
And put Cortana on the side of the box. And have her holding the Connect.
Yeah.
Guess what? Cortana is officially available for people that have the new Dash right now. So I might try that out.
I don't think it's official. I think it's unofficial.
Somebody tweeted me.
No, I read it, and they have a video up. It's someone found a way around to get to it, and they're saying it's working. That's the good news is that the workaround is working.
Yeah,
which is awesome. But I don't think Microsoft had intended people to start using it tonight.
Yeah, they're gonna ban your account.
They could, I guess.
But Microsoft's so evil.
I mean, that's really cool. When you can start making appointments with your Xbox to either meet with your friends or do other things in your house with it, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's so sick.
That's next gen right there.
Yeah, like I said, my opinion is I think the Xbox One is the only next generation console.
It is.
PS4 is just a PS3 with a little bit more power. It doesn't really.
It's a PS3 and a half, Blaze.
Yeah, it doesn't push the industry forward. Like, think about all the stuff Xbox One could do, like the Snap feature. I think that's amazing. I'll watch a football game, snap the party on the side of your fantasy football league. There's so many things that Xbox One could do that a PS4 can't. They never talk about it.
Hey, Mooch, someone has a question for you. Someone says, Mooch, what does the PS4 have to do to impress you?
That's a really good question. I'll tell you what they have to do. They have to make a better controller.
Right. Bring back that old school game.
First thing they're gonna do is make a better controller, because I really can never enjoy that system until the analog sticks are separated. If they don't want to mimic Xbox's design, fine, come up with your own. But you cannot have it so that when I sprint and look to the left or right, I smash my hand into my other thumb. Like that's just awful. Number two, I would say probably what Blaze said. Bring back some of your old quality games. And three, last but not least, get a stable online system. Yeah, PSN is just something I have no problem. I said it last show. I have no problem paying. I never pay the $50. I usually pay about $35 or $39 for Xbox Live with the deals they have all the time. But I don't want to pay $50 for PS Plus. I think it's a waste. It's not a good service. And when you talk to somebody on that system, it's like talking through a can and a rope. You know, it's very hard to hear. It's cloudy. So, I mean, those would be the three. I mean, I can go on and on and on, but those are the three big boys.
Yeah, definitely. Halo 5 went gold.
Can't wait.
And they also 343 came out and said that they had to move forward from split screen because, you know, they're all about the future and things like that. And, you know, I agree with them. I know some people aren't. But I think that what are you guys' thoughts on this? Are you guys excited for Halo? I mean, I know I am. I have mine pre-ordered.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited, and I don't really care. I don't share my screen with anybody, and I just play my games online. For instance, let's just say them days are over when I'm going around my friend's house with my own controller because I don't like touching anybody else's controller because I don't know where their hand has been. I just want to be in my home, in my chair, playing my game on my screen. I don't like sharing my screen with anybody, and I think Microsoft made the right choice. Just, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
And
the last Halo. Yeah, I was gonna say the last. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying another reason, obviously, is because, you know, with split screen, you know, there's gonna be so many sacrifices made. Like you see with Gears of War Ultimate Edition, the campaign had split screen, and that's the reason why it was 30 frames per second. Now, if we had split screen on Halo 5, it could have been 30 frames per second. So thank God it's still 60.
Yeah. It's so beautiful to see that thing run at 60 frames. It's like butter. Thing is unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I think people are going to be really happy with it. Like I've watched some of the Warzone stuff that looks like pure enjoyment. I mean, that looks like the best. That looks like they put a lot of thought and effort into that, and that's why I'm really looking forward to it. Like the stuff that I've seen on YouTube, looks fantastic. It looks something new. You know, you've got the 12v12 plus the enemy bosses and the AI and things like that using cloud services that can't be done anywhere else. You know, that to me is what Xbox One's all about. Fuck everything else. I want the experiences that you can't do anywhere else, and that's what they're doing. You know, and I love that, and I think that it's very.
I want to interrupt you just because I stand down. There's a lot of people posting YouTube videos now of them using Cortana, so I didn't see anything official come out of Xbox, but there's a lot on Twitter right now. That's a lot of people are doing videos. I believe Smooth just did one. There's a bunch of people doing. How to use Cortana on the new Xbox UI. So maybe it is an Xbox thing, but I would have expected Larry Herb to come out and maybe tell us.
Sometimes they stealth release these updates, dude. Like sometimes I was like, I'm playing a game, and the next thing you know, they stealth release an update, and I'm like,
everyone says it's working.
It could be stealth, but then it could be an exploit. Somebody figured it out, and they're doing it right now. It could be
I'm trying to do it when we get off podcast. I'm gonna try to use it.
Man.
Yeah, I'm probably going to use it as well. Yeah.
If it's that ready now, and it's the early weeks of October, this may be coming like right after Christmas. Then right after the New Year.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Like, do you guys think that they'll delay the UI till December? If they don't get
things down there.
No.
Then if you get backwards compatibility, that needs to be ready too.
Yeah, they need to get that out.
Look, I'm the first one that puts out on Twitter all these things crap, but I'll tell you right now, they've got such a large team on this. Like the updates they're doing. Okay, now I just got into it. Okay, I just got into it this week. but everyone I've talked to that has been in it since the day they released it has said that the updates have been substantial. Yeah. So I'm expecting, they're doing 50, 60, 70 that we're aware of corrections and update, and they're probably doing a ton behind the scenes that we don't even know, So I mean, I think and remember, I think we talked about it on BGST crap. They said November. They didn't say November 1st.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It could be November 20th. You know what I mean? Like
30th.
Yeah.
So, realistically, they have they still have 7 weeks. That's a lot of updates.
And according to Tim Dog, who, if you guys don't know, he's he's always talking to these people in DMs and stuff from Microsoft. He's good friends with them. He said that those people are working 6 days a week, 12 to 15 hours a day on that shit. So
they gave themselves a dedeline in front of millions of people. You can't say November during E3 and then be like, Christmas.
They're sacrificing their time with their families just to make sure we get that full next-gen experience, man.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Hey,
those guys.
That's why Phil Spencer said the music thing in the background is on the back burner. They're still going to do it, but there's other more important things.
This UI has to be polished, and back compat has to be at least, they said 100 games now. Mikey Barr has been on Larry Herb, Major Nelson's soundboard show, his podcast. He said over 100 games in November. So they've got a lot to do. 7 weeks from us testing it out feels like an eternity. 7 weeks when you have a gun to your head feels like not a lot of time. So
you know what I want them to do for the backwards compatibility? I want Aaron Greenberg and Major Nelson to make a video saying this is how you do backwards compatibility, and then he'll take a 360 game and pop in Xbox One, and then both of them they'll do the handshake. Remember the handshake? And then that's it. They need to make that video.
Yeah, and actually make it entertaining at the same time. That'd be crazy.
So, I mean, are you guys looking forward to trying out this Cortana stuff? Are you going to mess with it after you get off here?
I'm definitely going to mess with it. But one more thing, I don't know if you guys covered this, by the way, but the new Xbox advert with the greatest games lineup.
Yeah.
Fable Legends was missing, and there's a lot of speculation going on that Fable Legends is going to be delayed. Do you think that's true, by the way?
Why the hell? I mean, I saw an October release date, and then I guess there was some issues. If you're in the beta, I don't know. To me, it's smooth. I don't understand why they wouldn't, release it already, or maybe they're going to release it in December. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that. I wish they would release it. I wanna play the actual, because the beta for the most part, unless you're in a closed beta, from what I understand, not that I would know personally, but the beta that most people are playing is the multiplayer beta. That's just a small part of the game. The actual game itself is an RPG. You go questing, you can do it by yourself. The stuff that they're having most people do is it's just the multiplayer stuff, and so people are a little bit lukewarm on that. I get it, but I think that it's interesting situation where I hope that it's not delayed, but if it is, then that makes next year all the better.
It does have a story aspect to the game too, but do you think the reason why they're taking so long is because they haven't flipped the switch for DirectX 12 yet? Because the only time I believe the DirectX 12 switch will be flicked is when this new UI is made public officially. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Wasn't it? You would think that they would have wanted to do it already, because Windows 10 is out. It's on 110, 120 million devices.
Yeah.
They made this game to basically be a showcase of cross-platform play.
Yeah, we got Windows 10 on our Xbox. I'm saying we got Windows 10 on our Xbox, but everybody else, not everybody else is part of the preview program. You see, so probably they're waiting for the general release of the new UI, and then obviously DirectX 12 and Windows 10.
That makes a lot of sense.
I didn't think of that.
I mean, they can't release that game and be like, only preview players can use it. So I think that's a good point. I do think I think Xbox One really kicks off its rebirth behind Phil Spencer the day everybody gets the new UI.
Yeah,
I think so too. one more thing. Sony says, quote unquote, an overwhelming number of people say they're going to buy PlayStation VR. What are your thoughts on this? More bullshit? I think it's complete bullshit.
Yeah, I don't want that trash.
Yeah, that's one of the largest lies. And boy, that's amazing they can do that many in 1 week. I mean,
when Sony speaks, when you hear Sony speaking, I just picture like boy speaks. I just see like shit falling out of their mouth, like it's gross, right?
Yeah,
it's like like they're choking on that.
It's from the Peanuts gang. It's like the teacher talking. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit with subtitles.
That's Sony's theme song right there. You know what I mean? Because I don't believe that. Who the hell is really interested in this? It's not the hardcore gamer, that's for sure, because the hardcore gamer doesn't want to give up their controller. Or that was at least the argument, you know what I mean, when Kinect came out and all these other things. And also, Yoshida come out and said, oh, well, PlayStation VR isn't going to be the same thing as the Move was or 3D game, and we're really going to support it this time, and we're serious. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, people don't want to.
Like, do you really believe this gimmick?
People don't want to spend $100 for something like Kinect that's giving us Cortana. It's going to give you voice commands. It's going to give you all kinds of new updates with the new UI. They don't want to spend $100 for that, but they're going to give Sony $400 to put this motorcycle helmet around your head and hold 2 popsicle sticks and run around your house. That ain't happening, man. I promise you right now. There's no way the VR thing catches on. It's going to be as popular. I'm trying to think of like a good analogy. It really is just going to be something like you have in the house that you use twice or 3 times, maybe a year. It's just going to get old, like any other, peripheral. It's no big deal. It really is no big deal.
It takes away, like Phil Spencer said, it takes away the social aspects of gaming because you're pretty much on your own, and it means you're lonely. You know what I mean? That's exactly what it means.
That's the ultimate. That is the ultimate fan. It's the ultimate lonely station tool.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I think it's a waste of money, though. They should just invest it in games.
It's going to be $400.
And a lot of the Sony fans, they're poor anyway, so they want to.
Yeah, they can't afford it. Xbox fans are rich.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's one more thing I want to cover before we get out of here. The sales. Like, people act like Japan's such a big place, right? But if you look at Japan sales for the PS4, it's 1.8 million. That's not a lot, and it's behind the Wii U. So I mean, is it really bad when people say the Xbox One's not doing well in Japan? Like, for me,
Japan irrelevant.
For me, it's a situation where who really cares at this point? You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same situation that it was even 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Where that region really mattered, or where people, you know what I'm saying? Why do you think Sony doesn't release first over there anymore? You know what I mean? Look, every other PlayStation except the PS4 launched first in Japan, right? So that tells you what they think about that. They didn't even launch that in 2013 in Japan, in their own home country. That would be like if Microsoft launched the Xbox One every other place except for America. Right? Yeah. I mean, that would have been a fucking slap in the face, right?
I'll be upset.
So I think, I mean, so look.
That's how irrelevant that market is, crap.
Yeah. Japan is irrelevant. You ain't selling no consoles over there. Sony know it. Japan's irrelevant. There's not the 90s. Like I said, think about the best games today, like Grand Theft Auto, Halo, Gears, Forza. None of them come from Japan. The only good games so far we've seen coming out of Japan probably going to be Scalebound. It's irrelevant. And I just don't understand what Sony fans so infatuated with Japan. There's nothing over there.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. 100%, man. And anyway, you guys have anything to say in closing? Because I want to go ahead and wrap it up. We've been going at it for like an hour and a half.
No, I just wanted to add to what Blaze was saying about Japan. Look, if the Xbox One is not doing well over there, and Sony, you know what I mean? The way I'm looking at it, it's even worse when Sony are not doing well there because that's their home country. That's where, you know what I mean? That's where their headquarters is. That's where their own people are, and they're not buying their own shit.
Yeah, Japan.
You know what I'm saying? It's bad, man, and that's why they're into mobile gaming and 3DS is they're casual gamers. They really are.
Well, they are. I mean, just look at the stuff they're like. You know, they hyped up 3D gaming. They hyped up this. They like those indie games. I mean, those are games my mom would like.
They're into that, weirdo turn-based shit. Stuff. You know what I mean? And that shit, I used to be into that when I was a little kid.
Yeah. I kind of agree with what Mooch be saying. Like, we need to keep it America, keep it Xbox. We should support our own brand. Japan don't care about this country. And we
And
should
yeah, and by the
file.
way, I meant what I said, by the way, about, if I see people play Call of Duty during the Halo 5 launch, I'm going to delete them. I'm going to delete them because I don't want to see that trash on my activity feed. I really don't. I don't
Call
want
of
to see any of
Duty.
that.
Quick scope, no scope.
Keep it Halo.
Hey,
Because
Mooch.
every time I see Call of Duty on my time feed or my activity feed, I cringe. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Mooch, your new tagline, right? Yeah. Xbox, make America great again, right?
That's right. Yeah. It really is. No, Blaze, we say it. I know that you're a big fan of what I say, and you do it on your show, and you do a great job, by the way, doing it. And to be honest with you, everyone's just got to take a little bit more pride, and don't just take pride. You don't just go buy something because it's got the American flag on the back of it, or the the United Kingdom flag. It's got nothing to do with that. It's the fact that everyone just said it. I think Blaze, no, wasn't Blaze. Excuse me. It was Wolf. Wolf goes, these guys are working 14-hour days, around the clock to try and put out a product to make themselves proud of what they put out and something that everyone's going to enjoy. And Sony's not putting that dedication in. They're not talking to their fans. They just get, again, I said it a year and change ago, and 2 years from now we're going to say it. When you pull your PS4 out of the box, you get what you pulled out of the box. It's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any worse.
Cheap-ass box, too.
I mean, it is what it is. I shouldn't say that because people are like, that's bullshit, Mooch. You get different updates all the time. Yeah, but the updates are little tiny. Oh, wow. YouTube got enhanced. Now you can do this. Now you can. Now your background can be green.
What, 3 or 4 months to do that update? They do stability updates mostly. It's like they do a stability update, then an update to fix the fucking update that they fucked up.
Can you ask your PS4 what the weather is in whatever country or whatever city? No. Now you can do that. As of tonight, you can do that with Cortana. I mean, this is ridiculous. There's constantly something coming out every goddamn. Look, we got 12-man parties last week. Now we're getting Cortana. Like, what are PS4 people getting? A new theme? Who cares?
They're still begging for folders, right? But look, the Xbox One is the most sophisticated console in the market right now. That's not an opinion. It's a fact.
Yeah, it's a fact. They got to grow up. Like the Sony fans, like those Japanese games, they don't sell. Like all those One Piece games and all like Naruto, you got to grow up. You're a grown man. Stop playing anime games. You're a grown man.
Yeah, all that 1 step forward, 2 step back. I'm tired of that shit, man.
You're a grown man. Stop playing anime games.
Hey, anyway, if you guys want to watch, we interviewed Seamus Blackley, the father of the original Xbox and the whole idea, and he did a really great interview. We did a podcast with him on Tuesday. It's fantastic. He had some great stories about Steve Ballmer, about Bill Gates and Sega, and some inside stuff. And he talked to me, you're going to lose all our money. Yeah, that was fucking great, man. I mean, he kept it real 100%. It was a fun interview, so you guys should check that out. Thanks, Iron Wolf, Blaze of Phoenix, and Mooch. Mooch, I'm expecting some more content from you soon.
Yeah, man, I'm working on it this week. I'm telling you, literally now the construction is done in the house. Now we got to actually put furniture in here, and I got news for you. Shopping with the wife and all that. There's a lot of work to be done, man.
I can imagine, man. I can imagine. But we'll catch you guys next week, and Big Gamer Small Talk is this Sunday. It's going to be on Showstoppers channel at 8, and we will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching, man. Rack 'em up.